Okay, so this is a primer on how to carry out the Sudan III test, one of the colorimetric tests you will use in the Molecules of Life lab. Most of those tests are actually liquid in nature. The reagents are liquid. You make a control and your experimental versions, and you compare the colors to see what the differences are, taking into account, of course, the background color of whatever foodstuff you're testing. So most of them are liquid in nature, which is pretty easy. The Sudan III is a difficult one because of the way the test works, basically. So Sudan III is a non-polar solid. They come in these little vials, like this one shown here. So this is a non-polar solid that basically only dissolves in non-polar substances such as oils. It does not become soluble in polar substances such as water. So when you're actually doing this test, this is a biohazard. So we have this, I have some Sudan III waste container up there, but basically the way I tell the students to do this test is to use one of these toothpicks. You don't need much of this, so I normally just grab a little tiny bit. That's actually probably too much, but at least you'll be able to see it. And I'm going to use the oil first. This is just a vegetable oil control. So I'm going to just drop the solid into that vial, and then I'm going to just seal it with a piece of parafilm and give it a mix. And so what you're going to see as you mix this up is that the solid dissolves into the lipid, both being non-polar in nature, and you end up with a sort of quite bright red solution, just like you can see here. See if we can get it to focus on this thing. Cannot. There you go. So nice red solution. There's still some undissolved Sudan III particles in there, but you can see a lot of them have gone into solution. It looks red in nature. I do the same test with water. Grab some of the Sudan III. Maybe a little more than that. And maybe actually we'll use a little more than last time if I can scrape some up, because it's actually harder to see when you're doing it into water. But I'm going to throw some in here, maybe a little bit more. There you go. So that's actually quite a lot I put in there. Okay, so if I do the same thing now, put some parafilm on this tube, give it a mix. Okay, now what you see, if I can get this to focus, what you see now is basically, it almost looks like a see no dissolving at all, and it looks like sort of dust sitting on top of the solution. So when you use 100% lipid or 100% water, what you see is like day and night, totally different. Dissolves in one, doesn't dissolve in the other. The problem comes with a real sample. So what you're going to see with a real sample is a mixture of fat and aqueous solutions. So you basically make an emulsion when you mix it, and you see little fat droplets, tiny little fat droplets that dissolve the stain or the reagent, and the aqueous does not. And so the way to tell if there's fat in something is if you see bright red fat droplets in the emulsion. It's not going to turn bright red like this. It's going to look much more like this one does, but with it's going to look much more like this, but with bright red fat droplets in the solution below, and you'll see some floating on top that doesn't dissolve. So it's just a little bit tricky, but the key is to look for those tiny bright red fat droplets, and then you'll know there's some fat present in your sample.